Kahi.
Now at the end of this conference, which I hope has been satisfying, I have also the honor to invite as our chief guest today, His Excellency Kiren Rijiju, Union Minister of State, Ministry of Home Affairs, Government of India. I wish to express our hope collectively that may you get some jinlap from this. This is your third trip, I believe, to Bhutan, but may you get some jinlap from this trip. Jinlap means basically blessing, but flooding with blessing, not just trickling, but flooding. Lap is a powerful wave of blessing. In a clear way, we would also like to receive tashi and auspiciousness for the Indo-Bhutan relationship from your distinguished address, for which we have the great privilege. Your Excellency, may I request you to deliver the closing address. Thank you.
Honorable Leongpo Sering Wangchuk, Chief Justice, Royal Court of Justice, His Eminence Lopen Sangye Dorji, Lechok Lopen, Honorable Leongpos, Dashos, spiritual leaders, scholars, dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen. I extend my heartiest thanks to His Excellency Dawa Gyaltsen, Minister for Home Affairs and Cultural Affairs, Royal Government of Bhutan, and Dasho Karma Ura, the entire team, for inviting me to participate in this very important international conference on tradition and innovation in Vajrayana Buddhism, a mandala of 21st century perspectives, and giving me this opportunity to address this august gathering of thinkers and thinkers of eminence and erudition in Buddhist tradition. I'm grateful for this opportunity to partake in this great sangam, the confluence of minds on the subject of continuity and change within both historical and contemporary expression of Vajrayana Buddhism. I congratulate and express my sincere appreciation to the Central Monastic Body and the Center for Bhutan Studies and Gross National Happiness Research for organizing this. I express thanks to His Majesty, the Fourth King, and His Majesty, the King, Jigme Kesar Namgyal Wangchuk, the Honorable Prime Minister Longchen Sering Topge, and the visionary guidance of His Holiness, the J. Khenpo, and their eminences, the Lopons of the Central Monastic Body. And I'm also enchanted by the hospitality of the Royal Government of Bhutan. Today I had a very warm meeting with the Honorable Prime Minister and many of his senior cabinet colleagues. And of course, as Dasho Karmaura mentioned about our past relations, this is my third visit to Bhutan, and always it has been enchanting. Every moment I am meeting Bhutanese people either in Bhutan or anywhere else. I enjoy every bit of moment. And of course, the proposal being made by Dasho about archery, that to the Himalayan, especially the Bhutanese form of archery, we are organizing an event which is known as Himalayan Sports Competition, probably somewhere in northeastern region. and I'm keenly taking initiative. So I'm very sure that as a special guest, we would like to invite the Bhutanese archery team to participate there. And we will have some informal competition also. Bhutan and India share uniquely warm and special relations founded on mutual trust and understanding. The Indo-Bhutan Friendship Treaty signed and ratified by the two countries in 2007 forms the basic framework of our relations. It is not only the reflects of the contemporary nature of our bilateral relations, but also lays foundation for the development in the 21st century. On the religious and cultural fronts, we have a shared past and vibrant relations and exchanges at present. As the Honorable Prime Minister had mentioned in his key address about this conference being organized in this very auspicious campus of the Royal Institute of Tourism and Hospitality. And I have personally seen it while coming here. The serene and soothing environment and the state-of-the-art facilities at the venue are a perfect setting to celebrate this special occasion and to explore diverse points of view within a sacred space of openness and mutual appreciation. During this conference, I'm told, has been explained also, a number of speakers from different countries, which include spiritual leaders as well as prominent scholars and neuroscientists, researching the effects of yogic and contemplative practices of human brain and well-being, have shared their insights and experiences and also talked about the challenges and opportunities of the 21st century. The living spirit of Vajrayana Buddhism that is inherent in Bhutan's landscape, temples, arts, and daily life can easily be felt in the environment of this conference. Both India and Bhutan had been ardent advocates of peace and compassion as envisaged in the teachings of Lord Buddha. Tracing the religious and cultural history of India reveals that the advent of Buddha Sakyamuni brought a paradigm shift in the culture of philosophy and spirituality in India and rest of the world. His entire teaching corpus, known as the Tripitaka, the three baskets, contain the ethical discipline, methods of training of mind, and the ground and modes of cultivation of wisdom, with a philosophy of dependent origination and practice of non-violence rooted in love and compassion. Buddhism made immense contribution to the culture of peace, has left a great impact on social and cultural life of Asia. Buddhism is not simply a religion, it is a culture constituted by a rich fabric of spirituality, arts, and sciences. Vajrayana Buddhism, which is sometimes also known by a misnomer as Tantric Buddhism, is an example of our shared past. It is said to be the first emerged in Orissa in eastern India between 5th and 7th centuries. Early Vajrayana practitioners were forest-dwelling Mahasiddhas. By the 9th century, Vajrayana had won acceptance at major Mahayana monastic universities such as Nalanda and Vikramshila. Later on, along with much of the rest of Indian Buddhism, the Vajrayana also disappeared from India in the wake of the late 12th century Muslim invasions. Later on, it was wholly transplanted from the 7th to 12th centuries in Tibet, from where it has persisted and flourished throughout the Mongolian Empire, Bhutan, Japan, as well as it evolved into Shingon sect of Japanese Buddhism. From the time of Asoka onwards, Buddhism and the art associated with it had a transforming effect on the countries in which it reached. The kingdom of Bhutan today is the repository of the glorious Vajrayana tradition. philosophy, art, and practices, and thus has the unique responsibility to preserve the same for future generation, which you are doing today. I'm deeply appreciative of that. As the theme of the conference, the tradition and innovation in Vajrayana Buddhism, a mandala of 21st century perspectives, underlines there is a greater need, in fact more than ever since evolution of human history, to relook at Buddhism and its varied philosophic traditions in the current context of conflicts worldwide and mass sufferings in the name of religion, racial and sectarian hatred. It is time to reiterate and replay the important role of religion in this enormous contribution to the maintenance of world peace, stability and security. Different religions are supposed to be safe refuge for people for peace and pursuit of happiness, not only in this life but also a better next life. Sadly, this role of religion has declined in this present age. People in different parts of the world are living in fear due to conflicts caused by religious extremism, which pose a great threat to human society. I would like to take this opportunity to condemn all forms of threats posed by millions of extremists. At the same time, I request the religious leaders of all religions, faith and beliefs to teach their followers the true essence of their respective religions so that they may walk on the middle path, free from any extreme. On the upside, we find an immense increase of our knowledge through technical innovations, rising levels of literacy and education, expansion of life expectancy due to medical advances, decrease of poverty, human rights through liberation movement, and establishment of democratic societies, etc. Paradoxically, the increase of knowledge in the modernity did not in turn contribute to peace and happiness. The modern scientific insight and concept of knowledge simply doesn't provide answer in the way religions do concerning questions of meaning and purpose, causes and effects. Within this spectrum, the task at hand is to make use of unique potentials of religion and philosophies specific to the individual traditions such as Vajrayana that are conducive for building a just, peaceful, compassionate and democratic society as a whole and create conditions for everyone to live freely within a harmonious plurality. In fact, Buddhist ideas based on truth, peace and middle path have become more relevant in the light of negative developments today. Almost all the countries in Asia embraced Buddhism voluntarily. No force of any kind was found behind the flourishment of Buddhism wherever it went. Buddhism transformed the people into peace-loving and their culture into peaceful phenomena. Given its liberal nature, Buddhism also adopted some of the cultural aspects of regional places, which is why Buddhism in various regions of Asia perceptibly reflects the respective culture. I would like to mention last time when I went to Japan, that Hindu and Buddhist combined sitting for the conflict resolution. The Japanese Prime Minister, in a very lighter vein, mentioned that the Buddha statue in Japan are always upright. And the Buddha statue in Southeast Asia and some parts of India are always in a reclining position. It's because he said Buddha adjusted according to the places and Japanese people are upright. So the Buddha statue is always sitting or standing upright in Japan. So that is how it has gone ahead. The noble truth as told by Buddha says that all human problems are caused by extreme greed, extreme anger, and controlling these extremes is the path leading to peace. Buddhism and its practitioners thus have to shun pacifism and take proactive role and responsibility in global peace and happiness. In fact, when people in this materialistic world are adopting all kinds of means to gather worldly wealth, His Majesty, the fourth king of the Kingdom of Bhutan, introduced to the world a unique concept, gross national happiness, that is based on Buddhist spiritual values instead of material development gauged by gross domestic product. And it has become Bhutan's brand image in the modern world, and I am also personally impressed by this concept. This philosophy of happiness is based on the premise that true development takes place when material, emotional, spiritual, cultural, and environmental well-being are cultivated in unison and mutually reinforcing. It would be relevant here to say that Vajrayana Buddhist view, practices and teachings will have relevance and an important role to play as long as we continue to experience the basic human sufferings. At the same time, Buddhism is not only a spiritual phenomenon, but a serious academic subject which challenges various disciplines of science and other philosophical schools. Therefore, it is critical that Buddhism with a sound foundation play a prominent role in the development of a culture and human understanding, as it did in the past, to shape the future of humanity grounded on the wisdom and peace. However, serious Vajrayana academy studies in modern times is yet to develop fully, and it needs a benign push from the stakeholders. As an ordinary lay practitioner and also as being in the public life, polity and governance, establishment of centers and institutions for studies and research is imperative, where people could study various disciplines of Buddhism. Further, effective coordination and cooperation among departments of Buddhist studies in universities across the world, collaboration programs, preservation of Buddhist manuscripts, restoration of Buddhist Sanskrit literatures, along with their translation into various languages, revival of traditional teachings, transmissions, practices, establishment of centers for learning Buddhist sacred arts, astromedicine and astrophysics are taken up in earnest. I am quite sure that the eminent delegates present here will continue to seek ways in which Vajrayana teachings of collective transformation can be meaningfully adapted to the emerging scientific and social concerns of the contemporary world. Academic conferences like this provide opportunities for scholars to share their research with peers and masses alike and continue to discuss their perspectives with a wider international audience. The continuous dialogues between modern scientific community and proponents and practitioners of ancient wisdom and knowledge, such as Vajrayana, is thus extremely important for a conscious and less greedy human society for the future. I am extremely delighted that I'm being invited to speak and to be part of this great audience. And I'm sure that you have, in 3 days of very intensive discussion and delivery, you must have come to a certain conclusion which we need to bring it into a shape, and that can happen only if we have a collective wisdom. I'm deeply impressed by the way this conference has been arranged and organized, and personally the amount of love and affection which I received, it has really touched me deeply in the core of my heart. And once again, I extend my gratitude to the organizers and all the eminences, scholars, those who have participated in this event, and to the Royal Government of Bhutan, and to His Excellency the King of Bhutan. Thank you so much.